Federal government grants 5-year tax relief to cashew processors. Debt Management Office reveals Nigeria's public debt rise to 45.25 trillion naira. UK-Nigeria envoy advocates synergy between trade agencies. Plus, oil prices fall Tuesday as China demand concerns mount. This is Business Express coming to you on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority, the NTA. I am Leah Katung, Babatunde. You're welcome. Reports by the Debt Management Office (DMO) and the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) show that Nigeria's debt has increased by an estimated 4 trillion naira in the past 5 months to 45.25 trillion naira. According to document, the federal government accounted for more than 88% of the debt stock. The documents revealed that the federal government raised about 3.34 trillion naira through its regular issuance of domestic debt instruments between April and August. The domestic debt rose from 24.987 trillion naira in the first quarter to 28.322 trillion naira by August. The debt stock, which stood at 32.92 trillion naira by December 2020, rose to 39.556 trillion naira by December 2021 and 41.6 trillion naira by the end of the first quarter of 2022. Nigeria requires rapid market integration, a collective model, and enhanced trade policies to boost its trade volume globally. Nigerian High Commissioner to the Court of St. James, London, Sarafa Tunji Ishola, emphasized these when he received the Executive Director, Nigerian Export Promotion Council, and his delegation at the Nigerian High Commission in the United Kingdom. Comfort Amadou reports from London.
Emerging economies are now taking keen interest in the manufacturing and agro-aligned industries, and this has led to projection that the African manufacturing sector could reach $666 billion by 2030. To align with trends, Nigeria must deepen its drive for local industries to meet the growing demand. The good news is that this is achievable, says the Nigerian High Commissioner here in London, but only if the relevant agencies work together for the common good. The Nigerian envoy is advocating greater cooperation between government agencies for ease of business and export.
We are trying to maximize the benefit of Brexit. After Brexit, Africa is the next market.
Dr. Ezra Yakusak, Executive Director of Nigerian Export Promotion Council, is appreciative of the diplomat for the significant impact the Commission is making to strengthen bilateral relations with the host country, affirming the NEPC's resolve to collectively promote trade with key agencies.
We are going back as a team to see how we can fix things and see how we can explore the window, possibility of getting orders from Nigeria.
Dr. Yakusak adds that the Council is determined to harness the full potential of export for an inclusive and sustainable development of Nigeria's economy. From London, United Kingdom, Comfort Amadou.
Thank you, Comfort. Now we remain in London. The death of Queen Elizabeth II last week has been said to deeply affect the United Kingdom in different ways. Experts say the monarch's death could also further slow an economy weakened by double-digit inflation, risk of recession, numerous strikes, and a fall in the sterling. To discuss how this is affecting the UK, the Commonwealth, and the whole world is Lukman Otunuga, a senior market analyst at FXTM, who joins us virtually. You're welcome. Thank you for joining me this morning, Mr. Lukman.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to be on your show.
It's been a very sad one indeed.
Yes, certainly. We can say that there's a sullen mood that's enveloped the UK, where most people I've spoken to, including myself, feeling a deep sense of loss. Her late Majesty the Queen was seen as a pillar of stability in the UK, heavily respected and constant, and now with her passing, there's this thick air of uncertainty. Many questions are being asked, politically, socially, economically. The next few weeks to months may be tough for the UK.
Yeah, indeed. Many have said that, and you've pointed out some of the concerns that the death of the Queen would alter the social, political, and economic landscape of not just Britain, but perhaps the entire world. So, for starters, monetary policy decision will now have to wait for another week. As a sign of respect, what direction do you see the bank taking?
Certainly, the Bank of England already had a mammoth task of trying to, tame soaring inflation in the UK against unfavorable macroeconomic conditions. In the UK, we're talking inflation that's hit levels not seen in 40 years at 10.1%. So it's a double-edged sword. As of now, markets are predicting that the central bank may move forward with raising interest rates by a whopping 75 basis points in an effort to tame inflation. Even if this may work, it has the risk of tipping the economy into a recession, because in the UK, we are actually experiencing a household squeeze on spending. Prices of simple goods from rice to groceries to energy, petrol, you name it, is rising, while real incomes are not rising. So we have a state where people are spending less, and higher interest rates only compound to that problem. So we'll see how it goes. But as of now, the bank is expected to raise rates by 75 basis points in an effort to cool inflation.
Now we remain with the bank. We hear the currency will likely change to carry the picture of the king. Do you see that happening now or in the future? And what will be the costs, and will it affect transactions across borders?
Certainly, and this is a very good question you've put across. I mean, for the past almost 70 years, the Queen has been the face of, literal currencies across the world. Now, the Bank of England will have the task of, bringing in the old notes and recirculating the system with the successor, Charles, free to take up the mantle. Now, according to the Bank of England, the current banknotes featuring the image of the Queen will continue to be legal tender. So it's not a case of them taking all the money in immediately. Over time, there is no timeline, but over an extended period of time, we're going to see a less circulation of banknotes with the Queen's face. And, beside the UK, we have to look at Canada, Australia, New Zealand. This will all depend on their individual financial institutions, and when they want to bring in the old tender and replace it with a new one. In terms of costs, there is no heavy cost associated other than the cost of printing new money, because, as I said, it's a progressive thing. It's not something it's not something like they're telling everybody to, stop using the current money to replace with a new one.
Okay, for a vast majority of us, we've never seen any other face on the sterling. But then, how is the London Exchange reacting to these developments?
Interestingly, it's business as usual. It's business as usual in the London Stock Exchange, with the FTSE 100 this morning quite flat. The lack of direction we're seeing in UK stocks is a representation of the uncertainty, and period of mourning we're seeing in the UK. One interesting development is the London Stock Exchange will actually be closed on Monday next week for the funeral of the Queen Elizabeth II, which is declared a public bank holiday in the UK. Other than that, there's other factors that are in play. As I said, we have a new prime minister, we have shaky economic conditions, rising inflation, post-Brexit drama. So for the meantime, even though the exchange is open, there's a lack of risk appetite, and this lack of risk appetite is going to result in most stocks being flat.
Okay, so this is coming at a time when the Prime Minister has also just assumed office and is coupled with concerns that you've identified earlier on the slowdown in growth. Can you help us understand the task ahead of keeping the economy on track?
It's a mammoth task ahead, a mammoth task indeed, because as we keep saying, at this current time, uncertainty is the name of the game. There's so many, I'm trying to sound positive here, living in the UK, but there's just so many factors that we need to put into consideration. The sterling's weakness, the fact that the pound is weakened, as touch levels not seen since 1985. But the good thing is that Liz Truss, the new prime minister, has already acted swiftly and put the people into consideration. So she's acted to freeze energy bills at an average of £2,500 a year for 2 years. As part of the package to support homes. This will have an immediate impact on inflation and possibly limit inflation down the line. We've got the budget statement also coming up in a few weeks, and has a massive 76 billion reduction in income tax, corporation tax, tax combined. So this is also something good for the people. Nevertheless, though, there is a lot of questions. We've got this massive squeeze in households, inflation that's untamed. Yes, we had economic data earlier today which showed that month on month the UK economy rebounded by a tepid 0.2% in July compared to the minus 0.6% in June. However, though, caution remains the name of the game, and I think everybody will be looking closely at what the Conservative Party have to do to try to stabilise the UK economy.
Okay, now in stabilizing the economy, before I let you go, how do you see the Commonwealth and neighboring Eurozone in Africa reacting to these developments?
There's many ways you can handle this in different dimensions. This could be a watershed moment. I think one thing we have to keep in mind was Queen Elizabeth II was actually the head of the Commonwealth for as long as she reigned. However, the title isn't inherited. We have to keep that in mind. But we already see that Commonwealth members have already agreed that King Charles should succeed the Queen. And we know that the Commonwealth is made of 56 countries across the world. But the most important part is the Queen has always been seen as a glue, a strong pillar of stability that kept everything together. And this has fallen down, this task has been handed to King Charles. And, there's so many things to put in case, but if he struggles to do this, or it is unable to meet market expectations, the Commonwealth may struggle to keep together because, when we remove the fact that there's no strong economic, political, strategic alliance which hold it together, it was mostly the Queen. So it is a watershed moment. The question is, with the passing of the Queen, is this the end of the Commonwealth, or would we see a stronger Commonwealth, led by King Charles? It's far too early to come to any meaningful conclusion, but I think down the line, in a few years' time, we should have a suitable answer.
Thank you, and I've been speaking with Lukman Okonuga. Thank you for joining me this morning on the program.
Thank you.
Do have a nice one. Efforts by the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, to ensure efficient payment system in the country appears to be yielding fruits as transactions worth 33.2 trillion naira were performed electronically in the month of August through the Nigeria Interbank Settlement System, NIBS's instant payment platform. Data from NIBS indicates that the figure came as an all-time high e-payments value recorded in a month since the deployment of the platform. Compared to the 29.3 trillion naira recorded in July, this shows a 13.3% growth year-on-year. The e-payment value increased by 50% compared to 22.1 trillion naira recorded in August last year. The NIBS says the value of e-payment recorded was a reflection of an increase in the volume of deals within the month. Now, the federal government says it will continue to provide the needed policy direction and support for the growth and development of the cashew sector both in Nigeria and on the African continent. Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment Adeniyi Adebayo gave the assurance while declaring open the 16th annual conference of the African Cashew Alliance ACA holding in Abuja. The minister observed that while Africa has remained at the forefront in the production of cashew nuts globally, the continent will continue to enjoy the least economic benefit from the commodity if more than half of what is produced continues to be exported in its primary form with no value addition.
We have increased our production and we are increasing our production. The export of cashew, we think Nigeria now wants to change the narrative from just exporting to actually adding value before exporting.
This trend of exporting raw cashew nut must stop. And the only way to stop this is to increase production, bridging the skill gap among cashew farmers, increasing the processing capacity of 20 Western and Eastern African nations, and harnessing capacity capabilities for other cashew derivatives that have the capacity of increasing jobs to our youth and women in rural and urban areas.
Oil prices fell in volatile trade on Tuesday as investors concerns about lower demand in China, the world's biggest crude importer, offset worries about tight fuel supplies ahead of winter. Brent crude slid 34 cents or 0.4% to $93.66 a barrel, while West Texas Intermediate crude declined by 20 cents or 0.2% to $87.58 a barrel. Both contracts fell by more than $1 earlier in the session, snapping a three-day rally. And we move to our Surviving COVID-19 series. Today, Moplang Dako caught up with a young man who has been selling belts and other accessories for a living. He's hopeful that luck will shine on him through the Central Bank of Nigeria.
Surviving COVID-19 series is brought to you in partnership with the Central Bank of Nigeria.
Started in 2017, but when I started it was very, very small, but now God now they grow small. Well, during COVID-19 I didn't really face that much challenge because when they shut our market down and I was planning to travel to village, so immediately they shut our market down, I just put head for road, travel to village, so I didn't feel it that much. But when I make calls, I call my friends here. When I call my friends here, they said that it was not easy for them. Even eating was difficult, but me, I didn't feel it because I traveled to village. Thank God for my mom. Mom, they are trying. They are good people though. If you get money, may they give your mother, or not they give them only woman. I beg. No. I've not heard about it though. Why not? If they will give me now, I go collect. All I will invest in it. I will rent a bigger shop now, put goods and increase my goods. See, I know the business very well. And when I get money, I'll do it in wholesale price. Get more money quicker. And establish myself.
Surviving COVID-19 series is brought to you in partnership with the Central Bank of Nigeria.
Indeed, funny Anayo there, and he's forgetting that his mother is also a woman. Anyways, market activities on the Nigerian stock market started the week in downward trend. At the close of Monday's session, the NGX All Share Index depreciated by 0.14% to 49,626.05 points. Market capitalization also dropped to 26.7 trillion naira. Investors exchanged 86.594 million shares in 3,377 deals valued at 1.1 billion naira. Guarantee Trust Holding Company, Sterling Bank and Zenith Bank were the most active shares. This morning on the global stock market, the market has extended winning run. Here is an update.
After U.S. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell reiterated last week that he is strongly committed to bringing down inflation, U.S. stock futures were cautiously higher Tuesday morning as investors awaited for Tuesday's Consumer Price Index report, an important inflation data point ahead of the Federal Reserve's September meeting. Dow Jones Industrial Average futures were up 95 points. S&P 500 futures were up 0.34%, and the Nasdaq 100 futures gained 0.35%. European markets were cautiously higher on Tuesday as global markets geared up for the latest reading of the U.S. inflation, with the August data set to be released Tuesday. Asia Pacific markets were also higher on Tuesday as investors look ahead to the U.S. inflation report for the month of August. The Nikkei 225 in Japan gained 0.25%. Mainland China's Shanghai Composite advanced 0.01%, and the Hang Seng Index in Hong Kong also gained 0.20% higher. African markets have just opened, but no figures yet as at the time of this report. Boss said able. Business Express.
Let's see the official exchange rate after now. So we move to the global commodity market. Gold jumps as dollar slips. Let's see prices from that segment. And that wraps Business Express for today. We hope that we have added some value into your knowledge basket. Remember to keep in touch with us, so do send in your comments, observations, and suggestions. Also be informed that all previous episodes are available on YouTube on the NTA's channel. You can also communicate with us via our various social media platforms. Business Express returns Wednesday at 3 p.m. I am Leah Katung Babatunde saying have a wonderful day and God bless Nigeria.